Today I want to talk to you about my Super C Jayco Seneca motorhome. Question always comes up, why buy a C-Class motorhome? Why buy a Super C-Class motorhome? Well, I can tell you a lot of the advantages and disadvantages of them. I can tell you where I came from and why I ended up with a Super C. Well, let me start with the fact that the Super C is a large C-Class motorhome. It's built on a Freightliner chassis. It has a Cummins engine in it, a Cummins diesel engine in it, so it is just a monster as far as size and weight and capacity and towing and power and torque. It's just like a Freightliner going down the road. And with that being said, it tows a lot. It's relatively easy to drive, but it's relatively slow to drive, just like driving a big old Freightliner. When they leave the traffic light, they shift, gajur, 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 go nice and slow. So that's one thing about this that I really like. It's an extremely stable platform. It's heavy duty, it's extremely reliable. I don't even think twice about it. The maintenance intervals are long, like 15,000 miles to even think about changing the oil or worrying about anything. So I really like that about it. So the engine, the capacity, the towing are all real advantages of the Super C. And that's one thing I really like about it. I do tow an enclosed trailer with a couple of four-wheelers and motorcycles and everything in it. That thing never weighs more than about 5,000 pounds, and it just pushes wind. And this motorhome doesn't even care about it. Doesn't even think it's back there. I don't even know it's back there. I have to turn on the camera to even see it. I'll tow a flatbed trailer that weighs 1,600 pounds with my 5,000 pound Jeep on it. Motorhome tows it, doesn't even worry about it, don't think about it twice. I go up and down hills, full power, full speed, with or without a trailer on it. So that's something I really like about the Jayco Seneca Super C on the Freightliner chassis. Is just the overall capacity. And while you're driving it, the driving feel is safe and stable and secure. So like I said, where I came from is I had a toy hauler behind a diesel truck for years and years and years. Then I moved up to a Thor Ace 30-foot Class A motorhome. And I love that thing, but I learned everything there is to know about Class A motorhomes. And they are wider, and where the driver sits is farther out to the side of the motorhome, over the top of the wheels, and you're a lot higher up. So one thing we didn't like about it is you felt like you were on a boat and you felt like the wind could blow you over. Right? Seriously, you'd shake in the wind and shake in the wind. This thing will shake in the wind, but I don't have for even 1 second a notion that, oh no, this is going to be unstable. I might fall over. There would have to be torrential winds of hundreds of miles an hour for me to even be concerned about it or care. So with the Freightliner front end and cab, the seats are inside and behind the wheels, more like a pickup truck. The mirrors are out front, like a pickup truck, whereas on the Class A, you're farther out over the top of the wheels and the mirrors are kind of back behind you. So total different driving feeling. You're up high, you're looking down, things like that. So just a difference in the feel and the way it drives. The Jayco drives a lot better, feels a lot more stable. My wife can drive it. She doesn't like to, she doesn't want to, she wants to just go with me. So those are all from a maintenance and capability and drivability point of view. I really like the Class C, really like the Super C. And once again, that's where we ended up. Why we bought it is just the capacity of it. Another reason we bought the Super C, and we really like it, especially this model, are the 3 slide outs. This thing will open up about 2.5 feet on the driver's side and about 1.5 feet on the passenger side in the kitchen area. So it gives it a massive living room. And then there's a third slide out in the back master bedroom. The king bed slides out about 1.5 feet, so you can walk around the bed and get to the bed on all sides. So the other thing we really like about this model, doesn't necessarily have to do with the Super C or not. I know they have Class A's that have 3 slides on them and lots of room and everything else. But this one in particular, we were interested in it because it had the 3 slide outs and the really big room, the really big capacity in the living area. And then once again, Class C has the big bed over the top of the cab, and it's actually considered an India king or something. It's a gargantuan king. It's like 8'8" by 8 feet or something. You'd think the California king is large. This thing is extra, extra large, and I had to measure it out and find out there were special sized seats. Called an India king or a Middle Eastern king or something. I don't know what they called it, but I had to get huge seats for that. So for the most part, we don't have a lot of people going with us anymore. We don't have kids, so we've got the king bed up over the top and the nice big king bed in the back. We do have the dining table that would make into a mini kiddie bed, and we do have a couch that'll make into a mini kiddie bed. So I guess when grandkids come along, we'll start using those. But that's another reason we bought this Super C, is all the room and the capacity and the power. So another thing about the Super C that we really like is all the storage underneath. There's compartment after compartment after compartment after compartment after compartment on each side. And then the top 6 inches goes all the way across from the whole frame. So tables we put in there, we can put in our skis and they go all the way across. We can put in our motorcycle flags and they go all the way across. We can put in our big lounging outside chairs and they'll go all the way across. On this side I have a Traeger barbecue grill with all the fixings, and on this side I have all of my equipment I need to change the sewer and the water and the hose and the electrical, and my surge protectors, things that are all part of kind of the maintenance over here. And then on this side we still have tons of room for 2 kayaks. We've got 2 kayaks back there and a paddle board in one of the cubbies, and then we have room for an extra cooler underneath. This thing comes with all the capability you can ever imagine. It has a full-size kitchen with a full electric fridge. There's all kinds of capability on it. And there's kids running motorcycles up and down the road. I bet they're having fun. Wish I was going motorcycling today. Anyway, all the capability in it. It's got a huge 8,000 watt generator, 8 kilowatt generator in the back that runs off diesel. This engine runs off diesel. It's, like I said, a 6.7 liter commercial Freightliner Cummins setup with the Cummins transmission. Things I don't like about it, and these are things you just have to consider to come on every motorhome. I've got a 100-gallon fuel tank, so that means if I fill that baby up at $4 a gallon, I'm into $400 to drive this thing about 1,000 miles, which, you know, it is what it is. You pay $1,000 if you drive and go spend a week in an Airbnb somewhere. So that's just a swap. That's just a give or take based on how you want to spend your fun money. We do love driving down the road in this. We love the ability to just pull over, have our food, water, bathroom, fridge, everything. A lot of things we do on our trips is we'll just be driving down the road and I'll pull into our rest area and climb in the back and go to sleep for 6 hours and then jump back in and drive along. So it makes road tripping like that really, really well. Another reason I bought the Super C is I had planned to test out going completely full-time in an RV, wanting to retire, work on the road, hit full-time. We have done 2-week-long trips. We've done 3-week-long trips. We tried to go for a month, and fantastic. All the capabilities you could ever imagine. It's just like having our home away from home. Problem is, I learned that I get bored. After about 4 weeks on the road, I need to come home. I need to come back to my base where I have tools and shops and I can spend some more energy and be creative. And the back of your mind, I guess we still have to worry about having the house and taking care of that. So I guess if we were 100% full-time, we wouldn't worry about that too much. We would just get on the road and go. But for us, we do love it for the extended trips. We do love it for the capacity when we go out with all our friends and all our kids and all their friends and everything. We're all out around the campfire. We can all come in and use the facilities and warm up, and it's got a nice heater and everything in it. So those are reasons I really love having the Jayco, having the Super C. Other things I don't like about it are the fact that it is an expensive rig. It is expensive to maintain and insure, and you have to pay taxes on it every year, and you had to pay a large sales tax on purchasing it. So I guess that comes with anything, but this one compared to my Class A, where we were into it quite a bit more in monthly maintenance. So certainly don't buy a big motorhome like that thinking that you're going to save money on hotels and your trips and your travel is going to be just cheap and inexpensive, because for me to jump in this thing and drive to Island Park and back, fill it up, that's about 800 miles. It cost me $350. So you just go with what you got. All right, well, other things to consider when you're talking about a big Super C motorhome. You see I kind of changed myself here. And look at these wheels, tires, they're massive. You can't change them yourself. There's just no way, not you'd even want to. So keep them maintained and realize that if you have a flat on the road somewhere, you need to call roadside service. So that's another thing I did, is I bought the roadside extended warranty. So if I need help, I can have somebody come out. I bought the extended warranty on the engine as well, because I don't ever dream about tearing into this motor and fixing anything on it. It's not a motor, it's a diesel engine, but you know what I mean. Once again, there's a lot of things to maintain on it. There's 3 slides, there's 3 canopies, there's this big cab over piece that you have to look at and worry about and maintain. But I guess that's the same with any motorhome, unless you get a small one and not have to worry about it. So I don't know if that's a drawback or an advantage to a great big motorhome like this, but it's definitely things to consider. Where are you going to park it? Another thing to consider, and that's kind of with all motorhomes, but this one in particular, is it's really heavy. It weighs close to 35,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds, has a towing capacity of 15,000 pounds, but the hitch only has a capacity of 12,000. So if I was towing anything anywhere near 12,000 pounds, I could be in the 45,000 pound range, and I absolutely do not want to get that stuck. So you're limited. This is kind of a pavement pounder, kind of an RV. You want to stay on hard pack, you want to stay on gravel roads. There's no taking it out to the sand dunes or taking it out to the beach and drive it down the beach and hoping that the sand doesn't get soft on you. Because if it gets stuck, you would really, really be stuck, and you need a big old wrecker to pull you out. You just can't get a couple of your buddies in Ford F-150s to pull you out. So that's another thing to consider on these great big Super Cs compared to, like, even my Class A. I didn't feel like it was that heavy or that much trouble if it got stuck. But that's just for boondocking, and I tend to go boondocking quite a bit. That's the other thing to consider, is motorhomes like this aren't really built for boondocking. They have a 80-gallon water tank, I think, and a 40-gallon gray tank, and about a 40-gallon black tank. And that won't really last you or a family more than a week if you're really conservative boondocking. So they're really designed for people to pull them into campgrounds and plug in their electricity and plug in water and sewer and everything, which that all works great, but for me and what I like to do, we like to boondock and travel around a lot, so consider the limitations. That was kind of a shock when I bought a motorhome compared to my toy hauler camper. That thing had a 150-gallon water tank and had about 80-gallon toilet tanks and gray tanks, and so I could just use it for a really long time without worrying about fluids or whatever else. This thing uses a lot of electricity, has a lot of backup battery capacity. It's got 6 big AMG batteries underneath it, but with the fridge and the inverter. Okay, so yeah, one other thing to consider is the electrical capacity and the electrical usage on this. It's got the electric fridge, it's got an inverter, it's got a bunch of plugs. You can run TVs and stereos and lots of things on 12-volt battery and also on 120-volt battery that's been inverted or converted up from 12 volts. So the fact that it does have 6 big AMG batteries for the coach side and 2 for the engine starter side, there's a lot of battery capacity, but there's also the ability to use a lot of battery at night. So that comes into play when you're boondocking. I did upgrade this to an 800 watt, 750 watt solar system that runs like all day long, and it'll fill up most of the capacity of my batteries during the day that I use during the day, even running the fridge and my computers when working in it, working remotely, like on some of those 3-week trips. We'll sit and work remotely and then tour around vacation at night, which is fantastic and fun. But like I said, I don't know if I'm really ready to go full-time RVing yet, but we'll keep this thing and we'll try for a 3-month trip, drive to Florida and back, and really have an adventure. So stick around for that, maybe next year. But once again, the solar panels really help keep me from using the generator. Not worried about running the generator. I just don't like the noise of generator, so I do really like the solar on it. So lots of luxuries, heater, furnace, fan, all those kind of things just work great in it. I think it's insulated well. I think it's built really well. It's a newer one. It's a 2021. So those are all things to consider when you're talking about buying a Class A versus a Super C. Plus, this is cool. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, tell your mom. If you have questions about other videos, let me know.